Good morning and welcome to Missoula Real Estate Today. This is Peter Christian. I'm here with the host of the show, Diane Beck, with Windermere Real Estate. Diane has been helping buyers and sellers with real estate in the Missoula area for over 20 years and is very active in the Missoula community. Along with their trusted partners, Diane provides complete service for your real estate transaction. And now, Missoula Real Estate Today on newstalkkgvo.com. 98.3 FM and 1290 AM. Hey, welcome everybody. It's Missoula Real Estate Today. I'm Peter Christian, your host. Diane Beck not with us today, but we do have some great guests, especially. It's a very important weekend coming up here next weekend. It's the Missoula Building Industry Association Parade of Homes and Remodeling Tour. Did I get it all in?
I think you got it all.
Okay. The voice you just heard is Jared Keene. He's with the Parade of Homes. He works with First Security Bank, right?
Correct. Yes, I do.
Also with us is Amber Schaefer, who is the Missoula Building Industry Association Membership Coordinator. We're going to get to her in just a second. But first of all, Jared, First Security is my bank.
Great. We love to hear that.
I'm there four times a week. So
excellent.
We should already know each other.
We should. We have so many branches. It's hard to keep up, right?
Do. All right. So, but anyway, so tell us how you got involved in the Parade of Homes. First of all, basics. When and where is the parade and how much is it? Let's get that out of the way first.
Yep. So Parade of Homes is coming up on Friday, September 14th through Sunday, September 16th. Tickets are available online at the MBIA website or at any of our sponsors for security and BMC, and tickets will be available at the houses during the parade. Tickets are $10 a piece.
Okay. Now, I understand that this, it used to be just the Parade of Homes, but now there's the Parade of Homes and Remodeling Tour.
Yep.
So how did that kind of filter its way into the conversation?
I think that was just directed by members, and I think it's been a while since we've actually included the remodel portion of it. But I think it's exciting to see not only the new houses that are being built, but also, you've got a lot of people that are out there looking at ideas for remodeling their own home as opposed to buying something new. So it just made sense to roll that in. And, I think it's fun to see some of the older houses that are remodeled.
I remember several years ago, there was actually a home that was burned that had been restored. And so they wanted to say the remodeling and restoration tour. But there are all sorts of different ways to fix up your house and make it habitable, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I recall it's been a few years ago now, but some university area homes that were, remodeled and they've retained that kind of eclectic charm and everything.
Right.
I'm sure they could have been scraped for what they put into them, but no, it was fun to go in and see some of the remodeling instead of just the new builds.
Sure.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about the association. So hand the microphone over to the lovely and talented Amber Schaefer. Amber, you got to get right on top of that thing for me. So tell me a little bit about the association.
So the Missoula Building Industry Association has actually been a part of the community since 1955, and we are a part of the National Association of Home Builders. So when you become a member with our organization, you also become a member of the Montana Association of Home Builders and the National Association.
So how many members do you have? A lot. Yeah.
Yes,
Wow.
Yep, around 175 or so
Okay.
right now.
Okay. So that's a fairly large membership for
Yes.
a community our size.
Yeah, so our membership is made up of builder members and then associate members. So associate members are people like Jared. We have bankers, title companies, insurance companies, real estate agents, anyone that has anything to do with the building industry in Missoula.
So why, if this is capitalism, you put your shingle up, start building homes, whatever. Why do we have a building industry association? Why is it there?
One of the most important things I think our organization does that people aren't aware of is we have a very active government affairs board. So they're down at City Hall, sitting in different meetings, going to city council meetings, really watching what laws are being passed or issues that are being brought up about the Building Industry Association. So they go sit on these meetings, they report back to us. Sometimes the city will ask our opinion as an association on how we should go or what grants we should apply for or how we can best be suited for these grants that the city is applying for.
Mm-hmm. Now, does that would be the political arm of your organization, basically? Is there any sort of movement within your organization to try to be more activist when it comes to taxes and fees? I know one of the things that if you're a builder, you know all about fees and that sort of thing, and they keep rising and rising. What kind of things are you doing to try to help the builders be more competitive in that respect? Any idea?
Jared, do you want to answer this one?
Yeah, go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, so recently there was a Making Home Affordable study that was completed. This was about a year or so ago.
Right.
And we were one of the key sponsors on that. And so that really dove into some of the topics that are causing some of the housing affordability issues. So that's probably something we've put our stamp on here recently that I think we're really proud of, and we'd like to see that, that document be used and kind of be a guiding force in some of the issues that we're seeing in Missoula.
Can you go a little bit deeper into that? Because I know that if there's one thing that people are concerned about when it comes to housing in Missoula, it's affordability.
Yep.
And not only affordability, but the amount of homes that are actually availability.
Yes.
So you put those two things together, and they automatically make each other kind of go a little crazy, right?
Absolutely.
That's the whole supply and demand thing.
Yep. And there's a lot of factors that are playing into it. A lot of it is just our land, our space that we have available. That's an issue. A lot of it is the regulation and the time it takes to get new lots on the ground. A lot of different factors. And so Missoula is kind of a unique example of a lot of different things that are going on, and it's going to take, input from a lot of different agencies and city council and builders and communities and stuff like that to correct that. And I think that there are steps that are being taken to address it. I think we've got a long way to go, but I think we've got a nice blueprint to address some of those.
Sure, I know it's difficult to overcome the human nature of supply and demand, right? Because it just kind of is what it is.
Yes.
And when you have a house, a very desirable house that gets 10, 20, 30 offers in the matter of a week that go way behind the asking price, you've got an availability problem.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Yep.
So the Building Industry Association, I know that you're out there building as quickly as you can, but you want to make sure you're being responsible too, right?
Yes, for sure.
So how does that work? I mean, just trying to make sure that everybody does everything correctly and ethically and that sort of thing.
Yep, and certainly a challenge, and I think that's where city government comes into play, because they absolutely want to make sure that, Missoula's growing responsibly, and they're going to kind of keep the builders and the developers' feet to the fire in terms of making sure that they're doing the right things. So that certainly plays a factor, and it's an important part of, as a community and as a member of the community, we want to make sure that we're not growing irresponsibly and doing, things haphazardly, and that we have kind of a cohesive design to our city and everything. I think that's probably where city government comes in. I'll also say, our community, from the builders that are associated with the MBIA, they're all local people. They're part of the community. I mean, I think that they are all invested and want to see the community grow and want to do it in a responsible way as well. So I think that it just comes from both sides.
So there's a balance there, obviously,
Absolutely.
right?
Yep.
And you guys are doing your best to try to strike that balance to make sure that the home builders are doing okay, and yet the people who are purchasing are also doing okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a tough line to walk.
It is, and that's the challenge.
But you're doing it, so
we're doing our best. Yes.
Okay, let's talk about the parade. I've kind of jumped into politics there for a second, but let's talk about first of all, how many homes are there? Where are they? And who wants to do the description of the? Okay, she's reaching for the microphone. Okay, Amber, get right on top of that and share with us, if you would, starting at number one, and take us on if you will, a virtual tour here.
Okay. Sounds great. So this year we have 6 houses on the tour from 4 different builders. Our first house is Maison Martin. It is by Hoyt Homes, and it is at 1410 Council Way. So that is out on Mullen Road, right near the Kelly Island access.
Wow.
It's got an amazing view from the back porch. It's definitely built for entertaining. From the floor plans, it's kind of my standout favorite. So we'll have to see.
Go for it.
Next up for house number 2, we have another home from Hoyt Homes. It's the Wellington at Water's Edge. So this is out on Waterside Drive in East Missoula. So right
Is that
near,
out by the golf course?
Yep, right across the river from the golf course.
Right.
And these townhomes sit right on the river.
Oh, these are townhomes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
So we had one last year on the tour also from this development. So I think they've got only 6 more left at that development.
Would you mind going into? We have a half an hour, so would you mind going into a little bit more detail of these houses, of basically the amenities. Now, I'm assuming you've seen them all?
I've seen floor plans.
Okay,
and
seen
some
floor plans.
renderings.
Okay,
Yep.
so all right, so tell me some of the features that people would say, hey, this is something I really want to see.
This home I would definitely say is that deck that overlooks the river. It's just an amazing place. You can see it when you're floating the river. You can see all of them there, and it's just a great community, great trails close to town. It's stucco houses with a really livable floor plan, targeted more towards retirees, I think, definitely for easy maintenance.
Single level living?
There's double level.
Oh,
so you
there is.
also
Okay.
have a lower level patio.
Oh, okay.
So one for
Right.
entertaining, one can be private.
Sure.
Up to you.
All right.
Up next, we have our third house is from Edgel Building. So theirs is called the Magnolia, and it is up on 2650 Drake Lane. So that's Upper Miller Creek. And this is a really gorgeous, I want to say kind of like a modern farmhouse.
Now, is this in the new development that was just opened here recently?
Yes.
Because I recognize that name. I have a friend named Drake who's a builder, so I'm wondering if he might be a part of
Yes,
that.
if you go through the neighborhood, there
Yeah,
is probably 10 houses being built in this area.
Wow.
right there.
And that literally is right on my way home. I look over my left shoulder and I see all those houses going up. I think, my goodness, it's good to see people up there on the roof pounding and you know what I mean? People working hard and people with jobs and it's great.
Yes, we drove by last week and it looked like it could have been a commercial. Outside the Edgel house, there were probably 10 landscapers leveling it out, laying sod. There was the driveway over. It looked like a builder and an architect. There was there's a lot of activity in the area, which is always fun to see.
Okay, next.
So we have X marks the spot. So this is a gorgeous house out in the Ranch Club, and this is from Bruner Homes. So Bruner Homes is the house that won People's Choice Award last year.
Wow.
So we're pretty excited to see what he has for this year.
Now, why do they call it X marks the spot?
I'm not sure.
Oh, it's a mystery.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I'll have to
I
figure
haven't
that
heard.
out.
I haven't had a chance to talk with Josh, the
The investigative reporter in me is burning with curiosity.
You'll have to come ask him at the house.
Absolutely.
And so we haven't walked through this one yet. They were laying sod when we went by last week, and it's a gorgeous blue house, and it overlooks the clubhouse. You have a great view of all the houses out at the Ranch Club have pretty good views. So
Wow, I'm looking at this here. I'll hold it up to the microphone so you can all see it. But I remember this, as you mentioned, this is the builder that won for the house. I believe it was up the Rattlesnake.
it was in East Missoula.
East Missoula.
Yep. Near
Right.
the
Okay.
golf course.
Well, I will tell you what, it was absolutely. We spent probably about 2 hours in there, and the nice thing is that the owners were there. And they were more than willing to share all the things that they did, the places where they got all their stuff, so that people could have an idea of maybe I could shorten that down a little bit and do something similar in my own house, right?
Yes, that's what I think was one of the best things about the parade is you really get the chance to talk to the builders. They'll answer any questions. They have great staff of volunteers that know where the materials came from. Last year we had a rug that I say went viral because we posted the photo of this living room. It was the Andrews house up Butler Creek, so Butler Creek Development, and there was this rug. And right away after we made this Facebook post, we probably got 15 calls in the next few days asking, "Where is this rug from?"
What was so cool about it?
I think it was just the bright colors of it. It was a turquoise, and it just really stood out in his home. So.
Wow.
Yeah, and so we directed them to his designer and was able to,
So let me ask you this before we continue with the tour. So we'll put the tour on hold and buses in park for a second. So I know all of these homes are professionally staged, right? Because you want to create the best example of what these builders can do. And so I'm sure that there are designers and furniture stores, appliance stores, things like that help out, right?
Yes, definitely. And in the magazine, you can see they'll list on each page of the builder.
Okay.
On the second page, it'll list the designer and the furnisher there.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So, and they'll have people in the homes as well. So you can ask any questions about the decor or how to create this look on your own. And each garage at each home, the builders can put in all their subcontractors contractor's info.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have any other questions or you're like, oh, I really like this stonework or I like this or that, you can go into the garage there, get their information.
My very first exposure to vinyl plank flooring was during a parade of homes. And I walked there, I said, man, that is beautiful. And it was a David Edgell home, and David was standing right there. And he says, you think that's wood, don't you? That's not wood. That's vinyl. You're kidding. And he said, no, it's completely waterproof. And he poured a glass of water on the floor. No penetration, nothing. He's wiped it right up. I said, sold American. That was my first exposure to that. And I'm sure this is a great place for that to happen, right?
Yes, definitely. I think some people have a misconception that we're just there to make sales when you're coming through, and that's not it at all. We just want Missoula to see the hard work and all the showmanship that is put into craftsmanship.
Yeah, well, craftsmanship, showmanship as well, though.
Yes.
I mean, especially if you're going to be winning some of these awards, showmanship is important, and there's nothing wrong with showmanship. so let's continue on.
So
the bus is back on the road. So okay, here we are.
So next up we have the Stone Mountain Rustic, which is a Mostad home, and this is up in the Stone Mountain development, formerly known as Mansion Heights.
Okay.
And this is just a really beautiful, the most rustic home, I would say, on the tour. And it's in a great location. So you'll just head up Whitaker and then go all the way to the end, take a left. I think a lot of people were missing it, that there's a new street up there. So
right.
To keep going.
So it's past the mansion, basically. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And
I'm sorry, Shadows Keep.
Yes. I know. So we keep dating ourselves.
Oh, yeah. I date myself all the time, but at least I'm a cheap date. So,
and so our last house is also a Mostad entry, and so this is the Blue Mountain at Concord Drive. So this is in the Valley View Terrace subdivision in Pleasant View Homes.
Okay.
So that's off of North Reserve.
So it's not up by Blue Mountain.
Nope.
Okay. All right.
Nope. So it is tucked in between Reserve Street and
West Broadway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that area, I talked with Brent Wahlberg a little while ago about the area that's growing the fastest in Missoula. He said that is one of the fastest growing areas in Missoula. And he said when you drive around, it's kind of a warren of streets. You know what I mean? They're kind of intercrescent around, and you got to kind of have to put your flag up, make sure where you're at. But there are so many beautiful homes and so many different homes in that area. And so it's really a good example of what builders can do. So.
Yes.
All right. So that's number 6.
Yep.
And what about remodeling?
This year we do not have any remodeling entries. We had one that is actually going to be postponed until next year.
Yeah, well, okay.
And so that's a really exciting entry up the Rattlesnake. So it's,
okay. So let's talk. So grab the microphone again, Jared. Let's talk about this whole business of the reason that people go to the Parade of Homes is not so they can buy a home. No. You know, I'd say 99% of them are going to say, I want to find out what's new. I want to find out what's accessible to me, things like that. So tell me about that.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point to make, is it's a showcase of what's going on in the building industry. Whether it's new products or new building, trends or that kind of thing. So yeah, it's a great way. It's a low pressure way to go in and see what's going on. See what kind of materials are being used. And I think most people go to the Parade of Homes to dream and drool and kind of get excited about what could be for their house, or if they're looking at remodeling or building or whatever it is. I mean, I think it's always just fun to see what new ideas are out there, what new products are out there. And this is a great way to see that.
As long as you're not drooling on the furniture. Go ahead, Amber. Grab the mic.
So I grew up in Missoula, and I would go to the Parade of Homes when I was younger with my grandma and my aunt, and we would go each year, and it really appealed to all of us. For me, I started going when I was around 10,
wow.
And at 10, you have this belief that you are going to live in houses like this right away. First house, like, oh, of course, well, I'm going to have that. And
right,
yes,
right.
I'm going to have this. And so it really is that dream aspect of it. For my aunt, she liked seeing, what remodeling ideas she could do to her house and trends and different stuff to update where she already was living. And for my grandmother, she just admitted she just liked seeing how the other half lived.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so I think it really, it appeals to all levels. Last year, I spoke to some of the people that went through, and they said the kids really enjoyed it. Yeah, that whole idea of what could be or what they could have someday.
Sure.
And a lot of my friends my age are purchasing older homes because that's what's in their price point. So the option is to remodel. So to just get these ideas and to talk with builders.
Yeah, and that's why they're there, right?
Yes.
Because I think one of the reasons the builders go to so much trouble to put all this together is not to say, hey, look at my house that I built. Mm-hmm. It's look what I can do for you, right?
Yes, so, definitely. And they worked really hard on these houses, so they're proud to show you what they did,
right.
What innovations they were able to come up with to fit these situations, and just share their knowledge with you.
Now, one of the misconceptions is that since you're going to all these beautiful homes, and they are, state of the art, the best you can get in Missoula. But one of the misconceptions is that these builders, well, gee, they can't build a small house for me, or they can't build a modest home for me because obviously they built this. Mm-hmm. Well, that if they could you want to grab the mic there, Jared, on that one? The whole idea is. This is top of the line, but we can help anybody, right?
And I think a great point is, and we don't have anything on the parade this year, but last year, one of the most popular houses was it was kind of an infill development over off of Johnson and 6th. And it was, it was two-story small houses, 2-bedroom houses that just kind of showed what you could do in a small space, both land-wise and, in a floor plan. So I think that was a great exercise in showing what some of these guys can do with, a smaller budget and a smaller piece of land and maybe something a little more creative with an infill type of project as opposed to, typically what you might expect as being a parade home. So, and unfortunately we don't have anything on the parade this year. I know that the guys that put that together wanted to do it this year, and I think they'll be back next year probably with something similar. So we'll be excited for next year's parade with some of these things that we've already got queued up for next year. But
go ahead, Amber. We have to move the microphone back and forth, in case you're wondering, folks. Here, she's not beating him up. Go ahead.
And I think something else that people need to remember, I think sometimes they get intimidated by hearing the name, Edgel, Hoyt, Mossad. They're big builders in our area and well known, but they didn't start out that way. No. They started remodels, small jobs, and so they also appreciate all those, and they understand that their clientele comes from all different income levels, backgrounds, and what they want in a house. So they just want to make sure that to build you what you want. And
again, this is a showcase, and so the contractors and the other folks, the merchants that are there, the flooring people, the wood people, the roofing people, you name it, they're all there at the homes. And so when you go through there and you say, hey, I want to ask about such and such and so, the people from the MBI, let me hook you up with Bob, who's with the folks who did the roof, or let me hook you up with Jeanette, who helped do the flooring. And so that's where the deals get made, right?
Yes, definitely. And in the back of the magazine, we also have a full membership directory.
Yeah.
So it breaks it out there. So if you have questions or they refer you to someone, you can, as you're going through the house, make notes in the back there of different people that you might want to get in contact with or get bids from for any projects you have coming up.
And I will tell you, the one thing that these folks are aching to do is share their stories with you, right? About maybe the challenge of putting this house on this lot, and here's how we solved that problem, or here's how we were able to we have a disabled folks, and here's how we're able to make it habitable for them as well. I mean, they really want to share their stories.
Yes, definitely. They put a lot of hard work and time into these projects, and I think sometimes people forget that this might be they've already been into this project 2 years, 3 years, debating on when it started with financing and all of that. So they're happy to see it come to fruition as well.
Sure. So what do you enjoy most about the Parade of Homes, Amber?
I like seeing the way that they're styled. It's definitely, I feel like you're in an episode of HGTV or something. So you can see how.
Where's Chip and Joanna?
Yes. Yeah, so you can see how it is, how it can be, how easy it can be to style your home as if it came from a magazine or a TV show.
Yeah, and again, accessibility is the whole idea, because I am anybody who knows me knows I can't build or fix anything. Okay, I barely almost have to hire a contractor to change a light bulb. But the thing is, you go and you see all these great ideas, and my mind immediately doesn't go to I can do that. They can do that, and so that's when you get them into your house and let them work their magic, right?
Yep. And there's so many great those subcontractors, the designers, and like you said, the flooring companies, the furniture companies. They're so helpful. So I think once you go through and see that, you're not for me, I'm not as intimidated to go then to their showrooms and ask for help. Whereas sometimes that might seem intimidating to go into someplace like that. If, like you said, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Right. So that means you're not on their turf. You're kind of on neutral ground here, right? So that way it's easier to get your questions answered. Now, so tell us a little bit about it's 3 days. So if you can't go Friday, you can go Saturday or Sunday. What are the hours exactly that this is going on? She's frantically searching.
So this year we extended the hours. Last year we had a lot of people that wanted to come more in the evenings on Friday and Saturday. So this year for Friday and Saturday, the hours are 10 to 8 p.m.
Wow,
and
that's cool.
Sunday, 10 to 4.
Okay.
And your $10 ticket, you can go back to any homes. You can re-enter any of the homes. So if you say I saw something on Friday that I really liked, certain flooring or something, and I wanted to come back on Sunday and show my husband, I could come back and bring him.
So it's not one and you're done?
Nope.
All right. Now, does it matter? Do you have to start with 1 and go through 6, or how does that work?
No. So like we said, you can purchase the tickets through our website. There's also an app called Parade Craze that you can download and get your ticket there. And it actually has a map of all the homes, has them listed, has the renderings, different information about floor plans and stuff.
Cool.
Or you can just buy a ticket at the first home you visit. So this list of houses will appear in the Missoulian, and so then you can pick your route from there and just purchase your ticket at the first house you visit.
Sure. Now, I understand that every year there's a special tour, a tour bus with all the folks in your community, right? Has that already happened, or when does that happen?
Our VIP tour is next Thursday, and it's actually sold out. 1
week, yeah. Tell me about that. So what does it take to sell this thing out?
This year it went pretty quickly. Yeah, so I think last year we brought the parade back in its its traditional format, and people were just really excited about it. So on the VIP tour, this year we're meeting at the DoubleTree, and then you load up. We have 2 buses. Wow. And
so the folks at Beach, they're wonderful, aren't they?
Yes, they're awesome. Yeah, so they actually go out and they've driven the routes for us, so we know times for both our builder tour and this. And so one coach will visit 3 houses, and the other will visit another 3. And then we come back to the DoubleTree, and we will award our builder awards.
Tell me about some of those awards. We have about like 2 minutes left in the program, so tell me about some of the awards that are available for some of these builders.
So on Wednesday, we have a builder tour, and while the builders are going around viewing each other's homes, we have a group of judges that goes around. So these judges are not from Missoula; they're from around the state and different building associations.
So I can't vote for my own home, right? No.
Correct.
Okay.
And so they'll go around and they look at all sorts of different stuff of craftsmanship, and they each have different backgrounds. So it's really interesting to see what they might see that someone like you or I who aren't on a job site every day wouldn't notice.
So we got about a minute left. So let's go over the nuts and bolts. When and where and how much and where do we get tickets and all that good stuff. So, Jared, go ahead.
Yes. So Friday, September 14th through Sunday, September 16th. Like I said, or like Amber said, the homes will be listed in the Missoulian, so you can get a list of the home addresses there, or you can download the Parade Craze.
Where do you get one of these cool programs here?
Those are available at the homes when you purchase tickets, or currently at our Gold Key sponsors, which are for Security Bank and BMC, where you can also pre-purchase tickets.
And we are out of time. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Jared and Amber, you did a great job. We appreciate it. That's going to do it for Missoula Real Estate today. Thanks for joining us. We hope you'll join us next week for another exciting adventure with Diane Beck from Windermere Real Estate. We'll see you then.
Thanks for tuning into Missoula Real Estate today. We hope you found the information over the last 30 minutes to be helpful. If you have any suggested topics for future Missoula Real Estate Today programs, or any questions about buying or selling real estate, please email Diane. Here's the address:
It's Diane Beck at Realtor.com. That's Diane Beck at Realtor.com. We'll see you next week on News Talk KGBO.com, 98.3 FM and 1290 AM.